Hi, my name is Trevor Anderson, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I learned to build the bridge as I walked on it and the recent situation in my career. A few months ago, I jumped on an opportunity to become a business broker at the Liberty Group in Nevada. A business broker is essentially a real estate agent, except instead of helping people buy and sell houses or buildings, we help clients buy and sell businesses. With my background in small business development and entrepreneurship, I knew this would be a perfect career move for me. The broker was willing to train me and even had given me a few clients and listings to start out with. In this industry, that kind of support for a new agent is unheard of. I was lucky to be given this opportunity. Excitedly, I jumped in. At first, everything was great. I was enjoying learning a new industry and my skills were transferring nicely. But after a period of time, things began to change for the worse. After I had learned all the behind-the-scenes work of valuing a business and creating a listing, my excitement level began to drop. After some self-reflection, I realized that the main cause for my lack of enthusiasm was my fear. I had passed the stage of hand-holding and now was expected to be a self-starter and go get my own clients, as well as find buyers for the businesses I already had listed. However, whenever I met with a potential client, I always felt that they discounted me because I was young and inexperienced. I am by far the youngest agent in the office, and I couldn't help but feel insecure. On top of this, the businesses that I had in my inventory weren't selling right away. This began to scare me. What if I can't sell these businesses? Not only would I be letting them down, but without a commission check, I would have no money to live. Then, the other questions began to creep in. Is this really for me? Did I make the right choice? Am I going to fail after all this hard work? These fears paralyzed me. I dreaded coming to work and would often leave early with accomplishing little. I began to withdraw, subconsciously putting little effort into a lost cause. I was projecting my insecurities outwards, and the results were miserable. I was essentially sitting and waiting for something to happen for me. What I didn't realize is that I was choosing to slowly die. I embodied the normal state, became self-focused, internally closed, externally directed, and comfort-centered. I was self-focused in that I wanted to be successful and make money. I wanted to be the best and easily make sales at will. It was all about me and my success, and nothing else mattered. I was internally closed because I wanted to stay in my comfort zone and continue to do what I knew. The behind-the-scenes work is what came easy for me. It was the part that involved putting myself out there that was hard. I ignored the external signals that were telling me that a change was needed, and I buried my head in the sand. I became externally directed when I started to worry about what others thought of me. I felt that they looked at me as young and inexperienced, and it bothered me. I fought to fix that image and instead became it. I was also comfort-centered in that I only wanted to engage in problem-solving activities. I was good at specific tasks but feared doing anything new that would put my ego on the line. I wanted to stay behind the scenes and react to what came to me. Now, living in this normal state nearly killed my chance of being successful in this new career. I was choosing to die slowly rather than make a drastic change. This is when I decided to apply the lessons of building a bridge as you walk on it and entered the fundamental state of leadership. The most important lesson that I was able to apply from Build the Bridge as you walk on it was to close off all my exits and jump in. I realized that I was blaming everything else around me for my failure, and I was ignoring the one thing that needed to change the most: myself. So I decided to not let failure be an option. I closed off my exits, and by telling my other employer that I would be leaving them in December. This forced me to take responsibility for my future in this career, and the only way to be successful was to enter the fundamental state of leadership. By entering the fundamental state of leadership, I became other-focused, externally open, internally directed, and purpose-centered. I became other-focused by putting my clients first. Even if I wasn't successful, I kept trying. I made more of the uncomfortable phone calls. I sat through more buyers meetings where I was nearly completely ignored. I did this because my clients deserve it. Their needs outweigh my need for acceptance and validation. I became externally open by reaching out and asking questions of my broker and the other agents. I asked the uncomfortable questions about how to improve my image and performance. I practiced appreciative inquiry and genuinely listened and soaked in the responses. It was difficult to open myself up and admit my faults, but the feedback was rich, accurate, and useful. I I became internally directed by truly analyzing my faults and failures and accepting them as such. I then worked to close my integrity gaps and by accepting responsibility and learning from those mistakes. I made goals and a plan to achieve them. I wrote them down and taped them front and center at my desk. Every action that I took involved those goals as I directed myself towards a higher integrity. I became purpose-centered in much the same way that I became internally directed. I set goals to accomplish and worked hard to achieve them. I held myself responsible for my success and worked every day to achieve it. Everything became directed towards my clients' needs and putting in the effort that they deserve. As long as my actions were in my clients' best interests, I felt comfortable with any consequences that may arise from those actions. I became purpose-centered. The results of entering the fundamental state of leadership were sudden and exciting. My mindset shifted the day I chose to close off my exits and jump in with both feet. There was no way out, and I could close my integrity gaps that led to my hypocrisy. I was all in. This forced me to commit to this new career and make it work in some way. I had no idea what it would take to do this, but I felt comfortable building the bridge as I walked on it. Because I was able to close my integrity gaps and put my clients' needs first, I felt confident in walking naked through hell. I knew that as long as I stayed purpose-centered, the consequences for my actions toward that purpose were acceptable, regardless of the outcome.